Today we are going to tell a story that shook the entire Vasant Kunj neighborhood of Delhi. On March 15, 2024, 32-year-old Priyanka Sharma went to bed as usual around 11 in the evening. In the morning, she never woke up again. What happened that night, and more importantly, what the people closest to her were hiding, will shock you to the core. Priyanka was the person everyone thought was the epitome of success. A sales manager in a big pharmaceutical company, Cipla, she earned almost 2 lakh rupees a month. Her husband, Arjun Sharma, worked as a system administrator at Infosys, an IT company in Gurgaon. Together, they had recently bought a spacious 2-bedroom apartment on the 4th floor of the Green Park Heights apartment complex for 75 lakh rupees. Neighbors described them as the perfect couple, polite, smiling, always ready to help. They seemed very happy, recalls neighbor Auntie Sunita, who lives a floor below. Priyanka would often bring us homemade laddus for Diwali and Holi. Arjunji used to help my son Rohan with computer problems. We couldn't even think that something was wrong in their family. Sharma's apartment was tastefully furnished. Marble floors, expensive teak furniture, a huge Samsung TV on the living room wall. In the bedroom hung their wedding picture, a beautiful couple in traditional attire, Priyanka in a red lehenga choli, Arjun in a cream sherwani. They got married 3 years ago after a long courtship, having met through mutual friends at a Karva Chauth function. Priyanka's best friend was Kavya Kapoor, a 30-something interior designer with whom they had been friends since college in Pune, where both studied business administration. After her recent painful divorce from her alcoholic husband, Kavya often spent time at Sharma's house. Priyanka supported her friend mentally and financially, even helping her find a new apartment in the same neighborhood and lending her 3 lakh rupees for a deposit. Priyanka was like a sister to me, Kavya told acquaintances. After my divorce, I just wouldn't have survived without her support. She was the only person who really understood me. The morning of March 16th began as usual. Arjun got up at 7 a.m. at the ringing of the alarm clock on his phone, showered in the marble-tiled bathroom, and prepared morning tea with cardamom and ginger in their modern kitchen. He said he didn't want to wake his wife. She'd had a tough work week with presentations to new clients, and he'd decided to let her sleep in longer. Priyanka often worked late into the night talking to the company's overseas partners. Around 8 in the morning, Arjun decided to wake his wife up so that she wouldn't be late for an important meeting with the directors of Apollo Pharmacy. But Priyanka didn't answer his call. At first, I thought she was sound asleep, Arjun tells Detective Raj Mehta at Vasant Kunj station. She sometimes took medication for insomnia when she was very stressed at work, but when I touched her hand, it was so cold I screamed her name, shook her by the shoulders, checked her pulse. But the man's voice shakes. He covers his face with his hands. Arjun immediately dialed 102 for an ambulance and 100 for the police. While he waited for them to arrive, he called his father-in-law Deepak Agrawal in Jaipur and Kavya. The paramedics arrived 20 minutes later and pronounced her dead. Priyanka was lying in bed in her favorite blue embroidered pajamas, as if she were sleeping peacefully. On the walnut bedside table was an unfinished glass of warm milk with turmeric, her usual evening drink for a good night's sleep. Next to her was an open book, Revolution 2020 by Chetan Bhagat. But already in the first hours of the investigation, experienced Detective Raj Mehta, who has worked with the Delhi Crime Police for 20 years, noticed disturbing details. Arjun, despite the obvious shock of losing his wife, was answering questions with surprising clarity and detail. His account of the previous evening sounded almost rote, a dinner of dal and roti, watching the TV series Scam 1992, talking about weekend plans, the usual bedtime routine. And when the officer on duty called Kavya to report the tragedy, her reaction seemed unnatural to police officers. "What do you mean, she's dead?" Kavya interjected in a hysterical voice over the phone. "That's impossible. I spoke to her last night at 10:30. She was perfectly fine, laughing, planning a trip to Goa for next month." But when Detective Mehta asked her to come immediately to give her statement, Kavya suddenly claimed she was not feeling well, had a fever, and couldn't leave the house. Priyanka's family, parents Deepak and Anita Agrawal, younger brother Vivan, who was studying at IIT Delhi, was in shock. They boarded the first Shatabdi Express train from Jaipur and reached the capital by evening. The mother sobbed, hugging her daughter's big wedding photo in the living room. "My Priya was so healthy, so full of life. She called the day before yesterday, telling me about a promotion at work. How is that possible?" Father Deepak, owner of a small jewelry store in Jaipur, repeated quietly, 32 years. Just 32 years old. We have dreamed so much about grandchildren." A preliminary medical examination by Dr. Arvind Kumar revealed no obvious cause of death. The body was sent for a full pathological autopsy at IIMS hospital. But while the results of toxicology tests are pending, the big question remains: what happened to Priyanka Sharma on that fateful night? And why does the behavior of those closest to her seem so strange and suspicious? 48 hours after the tragedy, Detective Raj Mehta received the preliminary autopsy results from AIIMS. Dr. Sanjay Verma, chief pathologist at the hospital, reported over phone, "Rajji, a lethal dose of zolpidem has been found in the deceased's blood. It is a strong sleeping pill. The concentration is 10 times the therapeutic dose." Zolpidem is a drug that is sold strictly on doctor's prescription under the trade name Zolnox and Nitrest in India. The fatal overdose could have been either accidental or intentional. Mehta immediately sent his assistant constable Vikas Sharma to the pharmacies in the area with Priyanka's photograph. "We have gone round 12 pharmacies within a 3-kilometer radius of Sharma's house," Vikas reports. "Not a single one of them has a record of a sleeping pill purchase in Priyanka Sharma's or Arjun's name. Moreover, she had no prescription from a doctor." Meanwhile, the cybercrime unit led by Inspector Preeta Singh has started analyzing the digital footprints. Priyanka's phone, an iPhone 13 Pro in a pink case, contained many intriguing details. Safari's search history for the past 2 weeks included queries: how to deal with insomnia with natural methods, side effects of sleeping pills, signs of depression in women. The WhatsApp correspondence looked particularly suspicious. The last messages with Kavya were dated March 14th, a day before her death. Priyanka wrote, "Kavya, I need to talk to you. Tomorrow after work?" Kavya's reply, "Of course, dear. Is something wrong?" Priyanka, "I'll tell you when I meet you. It's important." After that, the correspondence would abruptly cut off. But the most disturbing revelation was that several chats were deleted completely. Technicians discovered that on March 15th at 10:30 p.m., just 30 minutes before her death, a correspondence with an unknown contact saved as DM was deleted from Priyanka's phone. The messages have not yet been able to be restored. On a working Monday, Mehta visited Chipla's office in Connaught Place. HR manager Rashmi Gupta met him in a glass office on the 10th floor. "Priyanka has been our best employee. Last month, she brought the company a 20 crore rupee contract with a German firm." Colleagues described Priyanka as hardworking and ambitious, but her closest co-worker Neha Jain has noticed a change in recent weeks. She has become distracted, often looking at her phone. "Last week, I saw her crying in the toilet. When I asked what was wrong, she said, 'Just family problems, nothing serious.'" Amit Shah, the company's CFO, granted access to Priyanka's work computer. The browser history revealed search queries: how to find out about cheating husband, signs of cheating in a relationship, legal advice on divorce in Delhi. The last query was made on March 13th at 4:45 p.m. On the evening of the same day, Mehta summoned Arjun for a second interrogation. The man looked gaunt and had not shaved for days. He was wearing a crumpled black shirt and jeans. "Arjunji, the autopsy revealed that your wife died of an overdose of sleeping pills," the detective began. "She didn't have a prescription for these drugs. Can you explain where they came from? Arjun nervously rubbed his wedding ring. I have no idea. Maybe she bought them somewhere without a prescription. You know, sometimes small pharmacies don't follow the rules very strictly. What about her divorce search? Arjun looked up sharply. What search query? What are you talking about? Mehta showed a printout of the browser history. Arjun's face went pale. That is a misunderstanding. She was probably counseling for a friend. Kavya, on the other hand, is recently divorced. Meanwhile, Constable Vikash had finally secured a meeting with Kavya. She lived in a small one-bedroom apartment in the same complex, only in Block B. The apartment was modestly furnished but tasteful. The work of an interior designer was evident in every detail. Priyanka was my best friend, Kavya said, serving tea in beautiful china cups. We knew each other for almost a decade. After my divorce, she was the only person who supported me. When asked about her last conversation with Priyanka, Kavya said, "We talked about work, weekend plans, nothing out of the ordinary. She seemed tired, but nothing more than that." However, when questioned in more detail, contradictions came to light. Kavya claimed that she last saw Priyanka on March 12th, but Ram Singh, a security guard at the complex, showed CCTV footage. Kavya ma'am entered Block A on March 14th around 8 p.m. and came out only at 11:30. When Vikash informed Kavya about this, she was embarrassed. "Oh yes, that's right. I had completely forgotten. We had dinner together on the 14th. Priyanka had prepared mutton curry, my favorite dish." But Arjun claimed in his deposition that on March 14th, he and his wife spent the evening at home alone, watched the movie Danga on Netflix, and went to bed early. By the end of the week, Detective Mehta had a disturbing picture of Priyanka suspecting her husband of cheating, researching information about the divorce, suffering from insomnia and stress. On the night of her death, she took a lethal dose of a sleeping pill of unknown origin. The two people closest to her, her husband and best friend, gave contradictory testimony and were clearly hiding something. But the main mystery remained unsolved. Where did Priyanka get the pills from? And who was the mysterious DM whose correspondence she had deleted before her death? The answers to these questions could completely change the course of the investigation. In the third week of the investigation, Detective Mehta received an unexpected call from the HDFC bank manager, Vikram Chopra. "Inspector Saheb, we have information that may interest you. Arjun Sharma has taken several loans in the last 6 months. The total outstanding amount is 18 lakh rupees. Bank records revealed a shocking picture of the family's financial collapse. Arjun had taken a personal loan of 5 lakhs at 20% interest per annum, a car loan of 7 lakhs, and a credit card with a limit of 6 lakhs, which was completely spent. The monthly repayments were about 80,000 rupees on his salary of 75,000. The most interesting thing," continued the banker, "is that Priyanka Sharma was not a co-borrower on any loan. She doesn't seem to have been aware of her husband's debts at all." Mehta immediately summoned Arjun for questioning. This time the man could not hide his nervousness. His hands were shaking as he lit one cigarette after another in the interrogation room of the Vasant Kunj station. "Arjun ji, tell us about your debts," the detective asked bluntly, placing the bank statements in front of him. Arjun remained silent for a long time, looking at the floor. It's hard to explain. I was gambling in the stock market. Thought of making quick money to buy a bigger apartment. Priyanka was dreaming of a house with a garden in Gurgaon. But you lost all the money. Not all of it. First, I won 3 lakh on Adani Enterprises shares. Then I decided to bet more and lost it all. Then I took loans to win it back. Priyanka knew about this? Arjun shook his head. I was going to tell her. But she was so proud of our apartment, our success. How could I ruin her dreams? Meanwhile, technicians were finally able to partially recover the deleted correspondence with DM on Priyanka's phone. Inspector Preeta Singh burst into Mehta's office with the printouts. "Raj Saheb, this changes everything. DM is Dipesh Malhotra, a private investigator from Lajpat Nagar." The messages were fragmented, but the content was explosive. On March 10th, Priyanka wrote, "I need to know the truth about my husband. I suspect infidelity." The detectives reply, "Ma'am, the surveillance will cost 15,000 rupees. Results in a week." On March 13th, the detective reported, "Ma'am, I have photos and video. Meet me tomorrow at Barista Cafe in Defense Colony at 6 p.m. On March 14th, the last day of Priyanka's life, there was a short message from the detective. "Ma'am, materials have been forwarded. Condolence. If you need legal help, I can recommend one." Mehta immediately went to see Dipesh Malhotra. The private detective turned out to be a thin man in his 50s with a graying mustache. His office was located on the second floor of a shopping mall next to a beauty salon and a cell phone store. "Yes, Priyanka Sharma was a client of mine," Malhotra confirmed, pulling a file folder from the safe. "She suspected her husband of cheating and wanted proof." The folder contained photos that made Mehta feel nauseous. Arjun and Kavya in an embrace at the entrance of Punjabi by Nature restaurant in Defense Colony. They kiss in a car in the parking lot of Select City Walk Mall. They enter together at the Lemon Tree Hotel in Gurgaon. "When I showed these photos to Priyanka at a coffee shop, she cried," the detective recounted. "Said she had always trusted both her husband and her best friend. Felt betrayed twice." "How long did their affair last?" Mehta asked. "According to my observations, at least 4 months. They met 2 or 3 times a week. Always in hotels, never at home." That same evening, Mehta summoned Kavya for questioning. This time, she couldn't keep calm. On seeing the pictures, she burst into tears. "It's not what you think. We didn't plan to hurt Priyanka." "But you slept with her husband for 4 months, the detective said stiffly. "That happened on its own. After my divorce, I was depressed. Arjun supported me when Priyanka was busy at work. We became close, but we didn't want to hurt her." "So much you didn't want to hurt her that you kept meeting in hotels?" Kavya covered her face with her hands. "We were going to tell everything. Arjun wanted to ask her for a divorce. We planned to do it after her promotion." Neighbors confirmed that there was frequent screaming coming from Sharma's apartment in the last week before her death. Aunt Sunita revealed, "On March 12th evening, they were fighting very loudly. Priyanka was shouting, 'You're a liar, you're a traitor,' and Arjun was replying, 'Let me explain.' Then the door slammed and someone left." Guard Ram Singh added, "That night, Arjun Saheb left the building around 11 o'clock and returned only in the morning. He did not take his car with him. He left on foot." While searching Arjun's apartment, the police finally found what they were looking for. In the toilet bowl, wrapped in a plastic bag, was a packet of Zolnox 10 milligrams, the same sleeping pill that had killed Priyanka. There was no pharmacy label on the package, which meant an over-the-counter purchase somewhere on the black market. At the sight of the evidence, Arjun finally broke down. "Yes, I bought those pills, but not to kill my wife. I wanted to kill myself. After she found out about me and Kavya, I couldn't live with the shame." "Then how did the pills get into Priyanka's system?" "I don't know. By the gods, I don't know. I left home that night, walked the streets till morning, thought of committing suicide. When I came back, she was dead." But Arjun's testimony contradicted his cell phone data. According to the geolocation, he did not leave the house from 10 p.m. on March 15th to 7 a.m. on March 16th. Either he had left his cell phone at home on purpose or was lying about his alibi. The picture was getting more and more sinister. Arjun had motive, huge debts, and his wife's insurance of 30 lakh rupees means sleeping pills and opportunity. He was at home on the night of the murder. Kavya also had a motive, to remove an obstacle to a relationship with her lover. But the big question remained. Which one or both of them together had slipped the pills into the turmeric milk Priyanka drank before going to bed? And was her death the result of a carefully planned murder or a tragic coincidence? Criminal psychologist Dr. Ankita Thakur studied the entire case file and came to a disturbing conclusion. Detective Mehta, we have a classic case of a toxic relationship. Kavya Kapoor shows signs of narcissistic personality disorder with elements of pathological jealousy. In the Vasant Kunj station office, Dr. Thakur spread out social media photos on the table. Look at the Instagram accounts of both women. Priyanka at Priyanka Sharma Official had 8,000 followers, regularly posting photos from work events, traveling, expensive restaurants. And Kavya at Kavya Interiors has just 1,000 followers, and most of her posts are pictures in Priyanka's house, with her stuff, in her company. Mehta scrutinized the pictures. Indeed, in many of the photos, Kavya was wearing Priyanka's dresses and jewelry. Comments under her posts often contained questions. Is this your house? Or, where did that expensive Louis Vuitton bag come from? Classic pattern of parasitic friendship, the psychologist explained. Kavya was living someone else's life, enjoying someone else's success. When Priyanka found out about the affair, it threatened to destroy not only her relationships with men, but Kavya's entire lifestyle. A close examination of Kavya's financial records revealed an even darker picture. After the divorce, her ex-husband, Sanjay Mehta, no relation to the detective, was paying alimony of only 20,000 rupees a month. Her design business brought in a maximum of 30,000 a month, irregularly. At the same time, she rented an apartment for 25,000 and spent at least 15,000 monthly on clothes and cosmetics. Bank statements showed that Kavya received regular transfers from Priyanka. For Kavya, rent; for Kavya, groceries; for Kavya, dental treatment. In the last 1 year, Priyanka has transferred almost 2 lakh rupees to her friend. Priyanka was not just a friend for Kavya. Social worker Rajesh Kumar, who counseled Kavya during the divorce, explained to the detective. She was a source of financial stability and social status. Losing that would have meant a return to poverty. Mehta decided to look deeper into Kavya's past. He found interesting documents in the archives of a women's college in Pune. Sunita Devi, dean of the design faculty, recalled both the girls. Priyanka was an excellent student, an activist in the student council. And Kavya, she was always in Priyanka's shadow, copied her style of dressing, her choice of objects, even her hobbies. Even more disturbing was the information from college psychologist Dr. Vinod Sharma. In 2015, Kavya had approached me with complaints of depression and suicidal thoughts. She said she felt invisible around Priyanka. To quote her words, "Sometimes I think I need to do something drastic to make people finally notice me." But the most shocking discovery awaited the detective in the medical archives of Safdarjung Hospital. In 2018, Kavya was treated there for sleeping pill poisoning. In her medical records, the doctor wrote, "The patient claims that she took the pills accidentally, mistaking them for vitamins. However, the dose was close to fatal. I recommend psychiatric consultation." Dr. Rahul Agrawal, who was then treating Kavya, remembered the case well. She was admitted in a critical condition. She was brought in just by Priyanka Sharma, then unmarried. The girl was hysterical, screaming, "Doctor, save her! She's my only friend!" But Kavya, when she regained consciousness, was strangely calm. She smiled and said, "Now Priyanka will realize how much I need her." Mehta realized he was dealing with an extremely dangerous individual. He summoned Kavya's ex-husband Sanjay Mehta for questioning. The 38-year-old civil engineer looked exhausted and nervous. "I filed for divorce because I could no longer tolerate her behavior," he told the station. Kavya was obsessed with Priyanka, constantly comparing our life to theirs. Why does Priyanka have this apartment and we have that? Why does Arjun give his wife such gifts and you don't give me? Has she ever threatened Priyanka? Sanjay was silent for a moment, then nodded. Once, after another argument, she said, "If Priyanka wasn't here, my life would have been so much better. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if she had just disappeared. Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? I thought it was just words in a fit of anger. Who knew she meant it seriously? Meanwhile, a technical examination of Kavya's cell phone revealed suspicious activity. Search queries made 2 weeks before Priyanka's death were found in the internet browser. How to buy prescription drugs without prescription in Delhi. Symptoms of sleeping pills overdose. Can murder be determined if pills were used? Inspector Preeta Singh also found correspondence between Kavya and one Mukesh Gupta, a known fake medicine dealer in Chandni Chowk area. On March 5th, Kavya wrote to him, "Uncle G, I need strong sleeping pills for my mom. She is suffering from insomnia and the doctor won't give a prescription." Mukesh replied, "Betty, come tomorrow. I have some good pills. Zolpidem 10 milligrams, 500 rupees for a packet." When the police arrested the trader, he immediately identified Kavya from the photograph. "Yes, I remember this girl. Beautiful, well-dressed, bought 2 packets of Zolnox. Said it was for her mom, but then asked how many pills it took to make a person fall asleep soundly and not wake up. I thought she was joking." The circle of evidence around Kavya was shrinking, but one important question remained. How was she able to slip the pills into Priyanka's milk? After all, according to Arjun's testimony, Kavya was not at home on the evening of March 15th. The answer was found in the testimony of Sushila, a maid who cleaned several apartments in the complex. "Ma'am, Kavya Didi used to come to Priyanka Didi's house often even when she was not at home. She had a spare key. She said she sometimes came to feed their fish or water their flowers." Arjun confirmed, "Yes, we gave Kavya spare keys a year ago when we went on vacation to Kerala. Asked her to look after the apartment." Now the picture was beginning to become clearer. Kavya had the opportunity to break into the house, the motive to eliminate her rival, and the means of murder. But that alone wasn't enough to convict her. There had to be direct evidence of her presence in the apartment on the fateful night. And that's when Detective Mehta remembered one detail that he initially thought was insignificant. Detective Mehta remembered a detail that he initially thought was insignificant. While inspecting Priyanka's apartment in her bedroom, a long dark hair was found on the floor near the bed. At that time, he had thought it was Priyanka's own hair, but now he decided to send it for DNA analysis. The results came back a week later. Forensic scientist Dr. Surabhi Malik called early in the morning. "Raj G, the hair does not belong to the deceased. It is another woman's hair. A 99.7% match with Kavya Kapoor's sample." Mehta now had physical proof of Kavya's presence in Priyanka's bedroom. But it still wasn't enough. She might have lost a hair on one of her previous visits. More hard evidence was needed. The breakthrough came when the technicians delved deeper into analyzing the CCTV cameras of the entire apartment complex. Junior Constable Anil Kumar was reviewing footage from a camera installed at the rear entrance of the building, the one used only by residents to take out the garbage. "Saheb, look at this," he exclaimed, pointing to the monitor. The recording showed a figure wearing a dark hooded hoodie emerge from the back entrance of Block A at 11:45 p.m. on March 15th. The man was clearly trying to avoid the main entrance cameras, moving quickly and cautiously. "Zoom in," Mehta ordered. At maximum magnification, a woman's Nike sneakers with a distinctive pink logo became visible, exactly like the ones Kavya had worn in the interrogation. But the most revealing piece of evidence was the message Kavya sent to Arjun that fateful night. Technicians recovered the deleted correspondence from cloud storage. At 11:50 p.m., just 5 minutes after the mysterious figure left, Kavya wrote, "It's done. No one else will come between us." Arjun replied, "What do you mean? What is done?" But Kavya did not respond to any more messages. On the morning of March 16th, already after Priyanka's body was found, there was a phone conversation between the two, which was recorded by the suspect's phone tapping system. Kavya: "Arjun, do you realize what has happened?" Arjun: "No, I don't understand anything. Priyanka is dead. How is that possible? Kavya, don't pretend. You yourself gave me the keys. You're the one who said she found out about us. Arjun, what are you talking about? What keys? Kavya, have you done something? Kavya, I did what you couldn't do yourself. Freed us. After this conversation, Arjun immediately blocked Kavya's number and never contacted her again. Mehta realized that Kavya had acted alone, perhaps even without Arjun's knowledge. But one more piece of evidence was needed to prove her guilt conclusively. The crucial one was the testimony of Suresh Agrawal, the night security guard of the neighboring Parkview apartment complex. He regularly smoked by the fence between the complexes and had a good view of Green Park Heights' back entrance. Yeah, I remember that night, the elderly guard recounted. About 12:30, I saw a woman coming out of your complex. She was walking briskly toward the bus stop, looking around a lot. It seemed strange. Why leave at this hour through the back entrance? Suresh was able to describe the clothing in detail. Dark hoodie, black jeans, pink sneakers. What's more, he saw the woman throw something into a dumpster on a street corner. The police immediately checked the dumpster and found a plastic Amyl milk bottle and disposable latex gloves with traces of zolpidem powder on the gloves and residues of the same substance inside the bottle. The forensic evidence showed that Kavya had prepared the lethal mixture in advance. She crushed 20 zolpidem tablets, mixed the powder with a small amount of milk, and then poured the mixture into a glass of turmeric that Priyanka had left on her bedside table. Dr. Ankita Thakur explained the psychology of the crime. Kavya chose this particular method because it looked like suicide. She knew Priyanka was worried about cheating and was looking for information about the divorce. An overdose of sleeping pills while depressed looked plausible. Based on the evidence gathered, prosecutor Ankur Jain issued an arrest warrant for Kavya Kapoor. When the police reached her apartment early in the morning, she tried to escape through the balcony, but was apprehended. Upon arrest, Kavya shouted, "You don't understand anything. She has stolen my life. Everything I had that was good, she was taking it for herself. First, the attention in college, then a good job, then Arjun." In her diary, found during the search, the police found scary entries from the past few months. January 12th, Priyanka brags about her salary again. Why does she have everything and I have nothing? February 3rd. Arjun is so attentive to me. I can see the way he looks at me. Maybe he realizes that I am a better match for him than her. March 15th. She came to know about us, screamed that we were traitors. But who's the real traitor here? The one who's been stealing happiness from me all my life. Today it ends. The last entry was made on the day of the murder. During interrogation at the station, Kavya fully admitted her guilt, but expressed no remorse. I don't regret what I did. Priyanka always thought she was better than me. She thought she could have everything: career, husband, money, friends. But justice prevailed. What about friendship? I mean, she helped you financially, supported you, Detective Mehta asked. Helped? Kavya laughed evilly. She humiliated me with her help. Every money transfer reminded me of what a loser I was. It wasn't help, it was a show of power. Arjun, on learning of Kavya's confession, fell into a deep depression. He realized that his affair had indirectly led to his wife's murder. At his last interrogation, he said, "I betrayed Priyanka, but I never wanted her death. Now I have to live with that for the rest of my life." But the most shocking revelation was what was discovered in Kavya's phone when analyzed in more depth. The most shocking discovery in Kavya's phone was correspondence with an unknown number registered to a fake name. It took the technicians a week to establish that the number belonged to Kavya herself. She was dialoguing with herself under the guise of a certain mentor who was allegedly encouraging her to kill. "You deserve a better life," mentor wrote. "Priyanka is an obstacle in your path to happiness." Kavya replied, "But I can't. She's my best friend." Girlfriends don't steal men, girlfriends don't humiliate with handouts. You know what you have to do. Psychiatrist Dr. Ankita Thakur concluded, "We have a case of dissociative identity disorder. Kavya created an alternate personality that gave her permission to do things that she morally could not afford. This does not absolve her of responsibility, but it does explain the psychological mechanism of the crime. Kavya Kapoor's trial began after 3 months at the Tees Hazari District Court. Public prosecutor Ankur Jain presented irrefutable evidence: DNA analysis of a hair, surveillance video, witness statements, physical evidence with fingerprints and traces of poison. Kavya's defense attorney Rohit Sharma tried to prove the insanity of the defendant. "Your Honor, my client suffers from a serious mental disorder. She was unable to control her actions." But Justice Girisha Agrawal was adamant. The accused planned the crime in advance, bought the poison, chose the method of murder, concealed the evidence. This shows sanity and consciousness of action. Priyanka's family was present in the courtroom during the trial. Her mother, Anita, sobbed, "We entrusted this girl with our daughter, fed her in our home, considered her almost family, and she killed our child out of jealousy." Father Deepak made a speech that shook the entire hall. "Your Honor, I do not demand the death penalty for the murderer of my daughter. I demand that she remember for the rest of her life that she killed the man who loved her like a sister. That is worse than any punishment." Arjun also spoke in court. "I am guilty of cheating on my wife, but I never asked Kavya to kill Priyanka. Moreover, I didn't even know about her plans. When she confessed to me over the phone, I was horrified. I had lost my wife because of my own stupidity, but it was another woman who killed her." The verdict was announced on August 15, 2024, exactly 5 months after the murder. Judge Agrawal sentenced Kavya Kapoor to life imprisonment without parole for 25 years. "The crime was committed with particular cruelty," the judge declared. "The accused betrayed the victim's trust, took advantage of her kindness, and murdered her in her own home, a place where she should have felt safe." Kavya listened to the verdict without emotion. Her only reaction was to say, "Priyanka still won. Even dead, she ruined my life." But the story didn't end there. A week after the verdict, Detective Mehta received an anonymous letter. "You have arrested the wrong person. Priyanka's real killer is still at large." The letter contained photos of Arjun with an unidentified woman in a restaurant, dated 3 days before the murder. The sender claimed that Arjun was having another affair with a work colleague, Nisha Gupta. Mehta verified the information. Indeed, programmer Nisha Gupta, a 28-year-old divorced woman, worked at Infosys. When questioned, she admitted, "Yes, Arjun and I had a relationship, but it lasted only for a month, from mid-February. When I came to know that he was married, I stopped communication immediately." The version about Arjun's second affair added new doubts to the case. Was it possible that he had used Kavya as a murder weapon and remained in the shadows himself? Or was it an attempt by the real murderer to avert suspicion from himself? New doubts were reinforced when it became clear that the anonymous email had been sent from a computer at an internet cafe near Arjun's office. The cafe's surveillance cameras had not been working for 6 months, so it was impossible to identify the sender. When questioned again, Arjun categorically denied any connection to the murder. "Yes, I had an affair with Nisha, but it has nothing to do with Priyanka's death. Kavya acted on her own, out of jealousy and envy." Priyanka's family was split in opinion. Brother Vivan felt that Arjun too was guilty. He ruined his sister's life with his cheating. He may have pushed Kavya into murder. But the parents were convinced that the real killer had already been punished. The prosecutor's office decided not to reopen the investigation because of a lack of new evidence. The case was officially closed, with Kavya being found solely responsible for Priyanka Sharma's murder. Today, a year after the tragedy, Kavya is serving her sentence in Tihar Women's Jail. She still maintains that she has committed just retribution. Arjun sold his apartment, quit his job, and moved to Bangalore. He avoids any contact with the press and the past. Priyanka's family has set up a charitable foundation in her name to help women affected by domestic violence. "Our daughter has always helped others," says Anita Agrawal. "Let her death serve as a lesson on how envy and betrayal can destroy lives." Detective Mehta often reflects on the case. "We solved the crime, found the killer, got justice. But the question remains, could we have prevented the tragedy if we had paid attention to the warning signs earlier?" Priyanka Sharma's story has come to symbolize how thin the line is between love and hate, friendship and envy, trust and betrayal. In a world where social networks create the illusion of an ideal life and material success becomes the measure of happiness, tragedies like this are unfortunately inevitable. Priyanka dreamed of simple family happiness, but her trust in the people closest to her was the cause of her death. And though justice has been served, questions remain. How many other Kavyas are jealous of other people's happiness? How many more Arjuns betray love? And how many more innocent Priyankas fall victim to human greed and envy? The truth was scarier than any conjecture. But was it the whole truth?